the break. We are still on Women in Business. I'm Kemcha Doreen, and this is Women in Business on Smart 24 TV. We are still going through the amazing journey of Asha Batenga from Kekle, Uganda. And you've had, you've had such an amazing journey. You also tell me during the break that even as you got into the cake making business, you didn't have any prior inclination towards baking.
No.
How you have done such a good job right now. You're doing well actually, and this is your niche right now. You've settled down for it, and you want to tell me you haven't gone to any baking school, you haven't had any prior experience with baking. How did that work? How did you start?
Okay, so now we are still in construction.
Yeah.
We do construction. Construction was more of sell bricks, stones, sand, and all those things.
Yeah.
It was a challenging business because now it's a dirty business. And this is me, Asha, who is putting on heels. I needed to get out of office. I needed to, because I was in marketing.
Yeah.
I needed to know who my clients were. So I discovered that every time I drove around the street, there is a site. That's my client. How do I get to that client?
Yeah.
I have to walk in and knock. At first it was hard because every time I would walk in, I am a lady with hair, with shoes. People would think it is KCCA.
Yeah.
So they would run off the site most of the time.
Really?
Until when I realized, before I thought what was wrong, why do people run away from me? Until when one shouted.
Yeah.
No one shouted, KCCA.
Oh, yes.
So I had to find a way. I got myself a very big ID of I'm selling materials.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would be hard. People would be like, you young girl, selling materials. So sometimes it would be a dare.
Yeah.
To be a dare of okay, you go bring me a truck of sand.
Yes.
And then the truck of sand would be delivered. That's how I got to
build up your clientele.
Yes,
and
so
all that.
I got so many clients. It was working. So we got excited. We got into bigger things okay, now we can produce our pavers, we can produce our cups, we can produce this. We have the projects. You go in for the big loans.
Yeah.
And it eats you. So it was more of we moved and the company shot up to these ends.
Yeah.
And we got excited because you can tell with your financials, we are going to have this, this client is going to pay that client. So even if we get a loan,
you'll still be able to pay back.
We will still be able to pay.
Yeah.
And guess what? Clients stopped paying. The economy was bad, people stopped paying.
Yeah.
And the interest started growing.
Yeah.
And the company, time came and the company couldn't stand.
Yeah.
We had to close.
Really?
That hit me so bad. As an African, it's hard to be depressed. Because you can be depressed and not know that you're depressed. I was hit bad, and I think I was depressed. But I didn't know I was depressed.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, I hated everything. I didn't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't motivated to wake up in the morning and do anything with my life. The only thing I would do was to either watch movies or go to church. Go do fellowship and come back. Because I had hit
rock bottom.
Not even rock bottom. I was in negative. You know when you hit rock bottom,
you can pick yourself up.
No one banjers you.
Yes. You're
just home, seated. But here, you have people
bills
to pay, you have suppliers, you have what? So that means you're from rock bottom to negative. You're below. So it was that hard. So it was a frustrating moment for me.
And this took how long?
Now that was 2013. 2014, I decided not to work.
The entire?
Yeah.
How were you surviving? How were you eating?
I don't even know.
Were you staying self,
Yeah.
by yourself? Or
I refused to go back home. I left home when I joined campus. And in my heart, I love my mom. I loved home. But I loved independence.
Yeah.
So I knew that I would never go back home. So I had no choice. Even when my mom would be like, come, I'll be like, no,
No.
I will survive.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a few savings that where you would use in this, in that, in rent. And
So the entire 2014.
I wasn't working. I hated work. I hated hustling. I hated the fact because even there are so many people I knew who were way better than me and they had no
Something.
jobs
Yes,
even.
yes.
But they were surviving. So
Yeah.
you look at someone
Yeah.
and you're like, Kale, me, I'm suffering. And for them, they're not suffering. They're just slaying. And they're doing well.
yes.
So it kind of like hit me of
Yeah.
like, whatever you're doing is not working.
It's unfair.
So it wasn't working for me. And I had failed, and I felt like
You had
I was
failed.
a failure, like a total failure. Right now I look at failure different. But then
It hit you hard.
it hit me so hard. And you know, me as Asha, it is hard to know that Asha is stressed. I would be smiling, I'll be talking non-stop, I am that person of like, you can come to me with your problems, but I don't know how to pour out my problems.
Yeah, you internalize it
So
actually.
I just keep that person. On top, you see me smiling and energetic, yet at the back, I'm like, I'm crying.
Sorry.
So I'm that person who would go inside my bedroom and cry and get out and say, hello, let's go party.
Yes, yeah.
That is like
But
my
I'm sure by now
personality.
you have learned to reach out and do something about
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, I grow into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it hit me, and 2014 was a silent year of like, let me just do me. Then I didn't understand what I was doing. But it was like hibernation. When I look at it now, it was hibernation. You see, when you want to touch the roof, sometimes you can't jump and reach the roof. You have to
Yeah.
go back down,
Yeah.
and then you go and touch.
Yeah.
So I had to hit down before I could go
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So
I think too, this is, and this is why we're dwelling so much on this particular uniqueness, you see, because people don't normally talk about these things. They brush them away. You know, they brush them away, and there's so many women who are struggling out there. That was your second huge failure, right? Apart from the other next to the radio one. This was now another one. You were so, you know, it's so hyper about it.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to work out. It didn't. You please just say, just very briefly, to the woman out there who is struggling, made her second, third loss, and she feels she should just give up. She can't even get out of the house to start again. Just tell us something.
you know, there is no success without failure. There is no such thing like, because how will you know that you have succeeded in anything before failing at it?
Yeah.
Not just failing, but total fail.
Yeah.
Every time you fail, you should appreciate that that failure is leading you to your next decision and your next step in life. Sometimes as women, we sit down and feel like everything is working against me.
Crashing, literally.
Even like a small thing that I have has been taken. Even the phone as I was walking down on the street, they stole it. Do not...
The elements are working against me.
Do not put yourself in that place, because every time you put yourself in that place, you attract all the negative energies. Trust me, after thinking like that, you're going to knock your foot. Someone is going to knock you because you're attracting all that negativity. So I have learned that even in the word nonsense, there is that cutting sense at the end. So there is no such thing like a mistake. A mistake is God's way, universe's way of telling you that you are on a wrong course. You can do something different. And that is the only way we hear when we fail. Because sometimes someone will even come and tell you, Doreen, that's not for you, but you don't hear them. You will hear all those voices, but you can't decide. So it is only when it hits you and you start crying over that failure, but yes, cry and pick up yourself and move on. Don't cry all the time and say, it is me with bad luck, it is me who always gets through this. Trust me, the words you say will come back to you, and indeed it will be bad luck. We
had another woman come in, and amazing guest, and she was talking about, you know, mental health, really. Talking about mental health,
I'm
she's
passionate
avid.
about
She's
mental
avid
health.
about exercise. Okay, and to the woman in business, we get to shoulder so many, so many burdens, so many disappointments, so many pressures, and most of the times just for your own mental health, yes, for your own self-care, for your own ability to move on. It's very important that you deal with it.
Yeah.
Take a breather.
Yeah.
If you have to, take a breather. She took a breather. You took a breather 2014, okay? She took a breather. She also took a breather for quite a while. So don't be pressured into jumping onto the next thing. Take
Fear
a
of
breather.
failure.
Yes, but also the urgency with which others put you. So you're doing nothing. You haven't started
that is
anything.
why
You haven't.
it becomes the fear of failure, because how are they going to hear that
look at
Asha,
me,
who has been up there
is
doing
now-
construction, is now at home jobless? So
yeah.
we fear that so much,
Yeah,
of which
it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. To me, you'll always see me, and that is me. I'm not going to pretend.
Asha, you've taken this break 2014. Kekli, how do you
Yeah.
start Kekli?
So 2015, one day we are from fellowship, we are friends, and we are like 7 people, and we're like, guys, what can we do together? Then I wasn't interested. So that wasn't my contribution, not my question, nothing. So I was like, okay, whatever you decide, guys, me, I'll be your marketeer. So talk about different ideas. You see, when you're broke, you have so many ideas that. So we talk about things like liquid soap. What, as in those
Things that you can
who
start.
projects that you can start, and you don't need a lot of capital. So then one person mentioned baking. I'm like, oh, okay. So among all the ideas, we picked out baking, and because we had a person on the group who was interested, who had a bit of knowledge
Yeah.
about baking.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, guys, whatever you've decided, me, I have my stand, I'll do
The
the
marketing.
marketing. And on the group, it is only me who didn't have a job. So we start looking for people who can help us bake, who can do this, company name, what. We became now serious.
Serious.
Brought money together, let us buy things and start. So we started.
Where did you start? Where? From home, your place?
Home at my friend's house.
Yes.
So, as we are there, me, I'm like, I like moving ahead. I started marketing. Before even we could have our first cake out,
Yeah.
I was marketing.
Yeah.
And where did I go marketing? Social media.
Yeah.
I go to my Facebook, I'm like, we're going to have Valentine's cakes. Put in your order if you're in the diaspora, if you're in Uganda,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. We will deliver.
Yeah. That's January.
Yeah, towards end of Jan.
Yeah.
Because we had like 3 weeks to prepare. So I started getting orders. You were asking me during the break.
Yes.
How they
Who
get
are
my
your first
order.
clients? Yeah.
I started getting orders, and I remember also before that, I had some siblings, because when I posted my siblings, everyone saw, and people started ordering. Social media started ordering. Guess what? We got orders that were 40. We got 40 orders. 40. 10, 20. We were in shock.
Did
because
you have like sample cakes, to as
I had a
passing
poster.
off? Yeah.
I had a poster.
Well, you must have used a very catchy poster.
I had a
A very good
poster. It
cake.
even had an animated cake. I got to know later that the cake was animated. It was like a tiny love heart.
Yeah.
And the poster had the numbers to call, what.
Yeah.
So when I put it out,
You got 40.
we got
An order.
40 orders, and I was scared.
Yeah. Will we
Of
actually?
like, how are we going to do it?
handle this?
And all that. And one thing that I have been so passionate about as a person is my credibility,
Yeah.
my reputation.
Yeah.
That from high school.
You
Of
mentioned.
like, I would never take your money, I would never
And not
steal, I
deliver.
would never, as in, I hated that thing where they say, Asha.
This person is a thief.
Exactly. So now when I got those orders, I kept thinking, how are we going to do this as a company? Who is going to help us?
Yeah.
So I was scared because now part even started sending in their money. So I kept
Deposits.
telling my team that, you know what, guys, we have to deliver, we have to do this, we have to do
Yeah.
this. So we started getting, let us hire bakers. We get someone who will bake what, since all of us didn't have much
Yeah.
about baking. So we got guys who can lie to you that I do like the best and the best, and then you interview them and they disappoint you, as in practical interviews.
And you have 3 weeks, by the way.
And we have 3 weeks to
Yeah.
do it. So we interviewed, then we landed on one guy who at least knew what he was doing, and the samples were good. We're like, okay, now we are good. This is going to be our guy. 3 days to that day, the guy didn't show up because
Oh
we had
my
planned, since we have many cakes,
Oh my goodness.
we are going to start baking like 3 days
That's
before.
that's 40 cakes.
40 cakes. And
But
we
but your
did-
friend knew how to bake.
Yeah, she knew how to bake, but she wasn't a commercial baker. You know how you bake
Yeah.
for people at home?
Yeah.
So now we are panicking.
Yeah.
We are like, what are we going to do? So all of us were like, you can bake, right? Like, yeah, I bake for people
Yeah.
at home, I bake.
Yeah.
Chimala,
Start.
start.
Oh my
So
god.
she had to start.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, I'll need help. Someone should help mix. Someone should do what? Me now, I'm with clients. I'm in the field.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to know because baking wasn't my thing. So we are running around doing all these things, and we realize that gas is running out. It's middle of the night. All those things we learned on job. You go drive around in the night looking for gas.
Yeah.
So we moved. We did cakes, baked cakes. Valentine's, we don't even have power. People are calling, they're not getting their cakes, they're sending you messages, you find WhatsApp, or you
Oh
run to the
my
neighbor, you charge.
God.
Like, okay, yes, we're going to deliver. Insult starts to follow. I trusted you, I sent money on time. You're just
Oh my goodness.
a
Everything
mess.
was just
Everything
falling
is just
apart.
falling apart. But what I kept telling everyone is like, we have to deliver all these cakes. I started calling in my relatives.
Yeah.
Everyone was a car. Come
Yeah.
help deliver. We called in border guys. Come
Yeah.
help deliver.
Yeah.
All I wanted were those cakes to go.
Get, yeah.
I remember, personally, I delivered a cake at LDC when it was almost midnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I reached there and I called the guy. The guy looked at me. He's like, you have survived.
I was going to sue.
And I was like, I was going to put your name on social media. How you stole my money.
Yeah. But all the 40 cakes were delivered.
All of them. All
Yes.
of them were delivered.
Yeah. But it taught you something.
It was a hard lesson.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And now everyone got a reality check
Yeah.
of like, this is how the business is going
Yeah.
to be. And shortly after, the first couple left was like, okay, guys, we have family, we have businesses, we have different things. We
Yeah.
can't handle this.
Yeah.
They left. So we remained 5 people. 5 people. There were 2 couples and 1 person.
Yeah.
After a short time, it was too much pressure. They also left. Now we remained
3.
3. Now the 3, we had 1 who knew how to bake. Then there was me who was doing the marketing, and 1 who was doing books, accounts.
Yeah. Is that how you started now?
Yes. Now we are. I think that was like towards June. Towards June. So towards June, the last person said,
Left.
Asha, I have a full-time job. I can't do this anymore.
So you stayed 2.
So we stayed 2. 2 is, 1 is my husband.
Okay.
Second one is me.
Yeah.
2 green people.
Yes.
So my first thing was like, you know what? To hell
Ditch
with
it.
Kekli.
Ditch it.
Let me move on with my life. Let me just. I had an order in the pipeline.
Yeah.
It was a chocolate cake.
Yeah.
And I was like, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go buy a cake,
Or pass it on as yours.
put it in my box,
Yeah.
and deliver.
Yeah.
And it will be bye-bye,
Yeah.
Kekli.
Yeah.
So now my husband started telling, but Asha, you have done so many things. You mean you can't try baking? I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
So So he kept telling me, you've not, okay, sold dead bodies,
Yeah.
but you've done everything.
Yes.
This can't be impossible for you. And I kept saying, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Baking is not for me. But you know, when you go back and you think about things, when you're going to sleep and you're like, oh, I try. So I was like, let me try and see if I can. So where did I go? I went to Google, I went to YouTube, I went to all sites they would throw me at. You just search something and it takes you to different places.
Yeah.
I
Fast forward, getting all that much time and all that nitty-gritty. You actually, did you end up buying the chocolate cake and passing it off, or you actually made it?
Nsumulula Osuna.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I need to know.
Now, that is where the story is.
Yeah.
That made Kekli
Yeah.
what it is now.
Yeah.
Did the first sample, I failed. It was bad, it was pathetic. I had to even spit it out myself.
Yeah.
Second samples failed. I even was like, maybe the problem is me. I sent to my sister. My sister called me and telling me, why are you giving me rubbish? This is rubbish, total rubbish. So now I knew I would never bake.
Yeah.
So time came. I think I had like 1 day to go. I put this cake in the oven. I think 10 minutes in or 15, I don't remember exactly. I see some ingredients looking at me. And the cake is in.
Yeah.
And you have some ingredients here. And I'm like,
What didn't I put in?
I didn't put in these things. The cake is already baking. But then I was like, let it bake. I'm done. I'll just buy cake. Guess what? When that cake came out, it was the cake. That was the cake. That the first cake I did that was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a very nice chocolate cake. So I realized that I didn't forget. It was God who made me forget this batch that was making the cake bad.
Yeah.
But because these are the recipes I had read, I wanted to put everything in.
Yeah.
So now I make this cake and it turns out perfect. Up to now, it is one of the best sellers, if not the best seller of Kekli.
Really?
That's our cake.
Yeah.
No one eats our chocolate cake and
doesn't
and
give
complains.
You, yeah.
Everyone would love. So I nailed it, but remember, I didn't know how to decorate. I nailed it and I played around with a decor.
Yeah. And off it went.
Off it went. The client was like, Asha, the cake is ugly, but it tastes heavenly.
Yeah.
That saved me, that taste saved me.
Yeah.
So that was like the birth of
Kekli.
Kekli.
Yeah.
Now I became super interested and that's when now I even registered. In June is when I registered the company. I didn't know 100% that I was going to do it,
Yeah.
but at least I was in and I started to work. Now here I was working from home.
Yeah.
I bake, I put up my cakes on social media and I sell them. So that is how like I
Kekli
started.
started.
And then people would eat and recommend and do what. It was hectic because I needed to learn online
Yeah.
and then practice everything I have learned.
Yeah.
And I didn't have money to go to a training school or what. All I had were my bundles. So I would use my bundles wisely at night, then during the day.
And we talked, sorry to cut you short, we actually talked about this and said we don't have any excuse not to know.
Yeah.
Because everything is just, you know, a click away.
Yeah.
And it's worked out quite well. But you're also very good. One, what I've got from this is that once you make up your mind, you get very passionate about it. And then you don't give up easily because
Yeah.
you had done so many other things, you're not easily scared. And you don't give up easily unless you want to.
Yeah.
And then also you're a very good marketeer because you had done that before.
Yeah.
So there's that tenacity about it. And apart from the great taste and the great marketing, what other thing you feel has been the reason why Kekli is doing so well?
I think we try so much to be consistent. In food business, even sometimes when you're 100% consistent,
Yeah.
there are things that will get out of your way.
Yeah.
But I try, if we're supposed to use real chocolate, I'll
Yeah.
never tell my staff, no, let us just do cocoa.
Oh, yeah.
So I use the real thing. If a recipe calls for butter,
Yeah.
I'll not use margarine. I'll use the butter.
Yeah.
So I try so much to make sure that I am legit. I will give you quality. Even if you say Asha is expensive, I will make sure that I'm giving you quality.
Does that keep away those ones that want to negotiate up to the bottom dollar? Does that keep them away?
It's not like it keeps them away.
Yeah.
But you know, when you do a product and you believe this product is good, and you believe that you're putting in money, you're putting in the best ingredients, all that, you have to make sure that you price it.
Yeah.
When you price it to what you feel like, this is the money I need to make a certain profit.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is that when I use the real product, I may make like a very small margin, but I'll stand to the ground and say, without this margin, I can't sell.
Yeah.
So that is what I base on.
Yeah.
So whenever you feel like, okay, maybe it's expensive, it means that you have not understood it, or genuinely you don't have money. Like two things.
Yeah.
So I look at it like, even when you can't afford it now, later you will afford it. So you're still my client or my referral, because someone will eat it at a birthday and say, this is what I want.
Women in business, I think, to me, what I love, even as we wrap up, what I love the most is the detail of your journey, the detail of how you started, the detail of how you have persevered, because there's so many women that give up. Asha, there are so many women out there that literally give up. There's so many women that actually, after 1 or 2 setbacks, just call it quits and say, you know what, let me just go and look for something formal. I want, and it's based on that premise, that particular premise, that you have been resilient throughout. That I would want you to talk to the woman in business out there who keeps getting shock after shock and feels she is done, to please hold on and what she can do in just a couple of brief words.
I think, like according to my journey, right now, we are a bakery and a restaurant. And these are like hard choices sometimes you have to make, because you see how I had the background of like the cakes, and I wasn't so much in food, apart from being a foodie, but now it is a restaurant and you have to grow. As an entrepreneur, as a woman, you have to make sure that you don't have excuses of growth.
Yeah.
Trust me, challenges will never stop. Challenges will never, even if you're working somewhere, challenges never stop.
Yeah.
This one will annoy you, the other one will annoy you, the other one will insult you, the other one will hate on you. But when you decide to give them a piece of your energy and give it to whatever they are doing, you are failing, and you're failing yourself. So women, we have so many hurdles to jump, because naturally we're born as emotional beings and all that.
Yeah.
But every time we focus on the negative, it takes away our energy, it takes away our say, and yet we have so many even actually better advantages. That's why we're even better negotiators than a man. But every time you sit down and say, now that man is going to get that job, I will not get it. Indeed, it happens. So you have to create yourself. Your part is to create yourself and be the best version of yourself, without competing with anyone, without copying anyone, without wanting to be like, I also want to be like my sister who is.
Just be you.
You have to be you and get the best version of yourself, knowing that I am going to be credible. I'm going to try and do this. If it is work, I'm going to work and give it my extra work, give it my best. Having those small principles that will make you as a person, will take you far, instead of blaming the situation, because the situation doesn't stop. I still get challenges up to now, but how I look at them is how I go through them. Challenges never stop. They keep coming and coming, and you have to look at them from a different angle than a challenge.
You've had it all. There is a lot that is still going on. There's a lot to talk about, but credibility, huge on that. Give it your best. Keep going on. When, no matter what happens, if you are sold out on an idea, just don't let go. This has been Women in Business. Thank you so much, Asha Batenga. We are delighted to have had you and take us through and inspire us. This is Doreen Kemgisha. Until we meet next time on Women in Business, Smart 24 TV. Thank you so much, and see you next time.